Hello, everybody. Welcome to another instalment of Take the High Road. G'day, Rem. How are you?
Very, very good. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. Thank you very much. It's been a great day today. The sun's shining and the birds are chirping. There's nothing but things to be happy about, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm feeling quite refreshed too. Just got a nice hot beverage this morning.
Yes, there's nothing quite as refreshing as a fresh cup of tea.
Nothing at all. It's probably the first thing I look forward to.
Absolutely.
After a shower.
Absolutely. Anyway, we've got a bit of a topic to talk to today, and that is procrastination. And what is it? We're going to talk about what it is and a definition and what does it look like. You got something to say about procrastination there, Remy?
Yeah, I have a bit of a definition here for us, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it's always good to get the parameters straight before we talk about anything.
Absolutely, always define your parameters. Where have you heard that before?
Yeah. So we'll define the parameters. So procrastination is the act of unnecessarily or voluntarily delaying or postponing something despite knowing that there will be negative consequences for doing so. It's actually quite a common thing that people do nowadays.
Absolutely it is, and we all do it.
Yeah, I know quite a few people that procrastinate all the time. Not like it's a bad thing. Some procrastination is actually very good.
Yeah, that's correct. Because I was going to say a lot of people unfortunately suffer it.
Yeah.
But we'll get around to explaining to that's not the case.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, some people procrastinate often and they prefer to procrastinate. They quite happily will tell you, I like procrastinating. It makes me work better under stress.
Correct.
I work better to the deadline, being closer to it.
Correct.
Personally, I don't like to wait till the last minute. In university, for example, we always jumped on assignments well before they were due. I remember in our second year, we had assignments due up to about 6 weeks before the due date. We were sitting in class in, say, April, and then the assignment wasn't due until late June. And then in the class in April, they were talking about things that we did weeks ago. And some people were just starting and we'd finished. So that was something that we used to our advantage, was no time wasted. And we had extra days off, easier lifestyle. We were a bit more relaxed, thought about things for a lot longer, a lot more in depth, had a lot more questions prepared for the teacher. We really perfected our work just because we didn't waste time. So procrastination can kind of be used in two ways. I'm sure research has shown that in some sort of fashion that procrastination can be used advantageously and disadvantageously, if that's a word.
That is correct. And just adding to that there where you were saying that we had assignments in the can weeks and weeks and weeks before the due date. I'm sure there's a great number of students out there at the moment with their eyes popping out of their heads going, bullshit,
Yeah.
that's impossible. You cannot do that. That's impossible. And we'll talk about that too, because there's a range of strategies you can implement to get on top of any sort of deadline or any sort of task where you don't suffer the negative consequences of procrastination. Now, if we can defining procrastination, because there's another bit of a definition there too, isn't there? You got another one there?
Oh, probably here somewhere.
Hang on, you got one there, have you?
Yeah, they got the action of delaying or postponing something.
Yeah, that's right. And there's another one here. Yeah, procrastination is an act of unnecessarily and or voluntarily delaying or postponing something despite knowing that there will be a negative consequence for doing so.
Yeah, I just said that.
It is a common human experience involved delays in everyday chores or even putting off important tasks such as attending an appointment, submitting a job report, or academic assignments. Now, lots and lots of the research that I've looked at in procrastination, because as I may have mentioned before, when I was doing my thesis in my fourth year honours, the motivation to research something was motivation.
Yeah.
But of course, you can't have motivation without procrastination. It's like left and right. It's not. It's like a yin and yang thing. So ultimately, my thesis went down the road of procrastination. So I got to have a bit of a look at it. The larger majority of the research that's done into procrastination, or when it's spoken about in the community, it is viewed negatively, like it is an ailment, like it's a problem that needs to be solved. Realistically, if you go deep down on the research, it's not totally negative. There is aspects of procrastination which is quite positive. Did you know, mate, that there's a lot of people out there who use strategic, it's called active procrastination, as a motivational tool to motivate them. So they quite happily leave things on the back burner until a deadline is right on top of it's we need this now. That is when they perform at their very, very best. And they will produce quality products. And like at the 11th hour too. Now, I remember you were telling me a story about a friend of yours named Jack who you went through high school. Shout out to Jack.
Yeah, he
tell that story.
Yeah, he was just he would procrastinate and then he would still perform way better than anyone else I'd know in school. And it was just astounding because I'd spend weeks and weeks and weeks preparing for a test or something, and then he would, he's a very smart fella and he's my best friend. I love him. I love Jack. And he would just do whatever he wanted to do, and then when the deadline come, he'd do a little bit of work and then he'd ace it, get top of the class or something like that. And so that's just what he did.
Yep.
And I always laughed at it because it was just like, some people can do it, some people can't. I definitely can't. I like to work at it for a week or two. But I know a lot of people that did that. There was a few people in high school, a few people in university. Well, not many people in university, was there? But
there was a few. When I started scratching the surface, some really interesting stuff come up.
Yeah,
around procrastination.
Because I think academic procrastination is one of the largest areas of procrastination that's studied.
Indeed, and they have been studying it for over 120 years, and it still is baffling. A lot of strategic planning goes into the student classroom around procrastination to try and help students to circumnavigate the negative aspects of it. But it was found that in today's environment, that university environment, particularly a procrastination-friendly is the terminology they used, because there's so much going on in a young person's life, particularly with the introduction of screens and social media. So to fit all those things in, plus the study required to achieve at an academic level, can be a formidable task for some people who are easily distracted, particularly if they are low in their own self-regulation behaviours. Anyway, we'll get around to that. But there's another interesting things that have come up in my research into procrastination, and I just thought I'd share with you guys. Did you know there's a gender difference to procrastination?
Is there?
There is. In point of actual fact, as it turns out, men have a propensity to procrastinate more and negatively, so it's detrimental on their outcomes, on what they are trying to achieve.
I can believe that.
Not all,
yeah,
but yeah.
Yep, that doesn't surprise me too much, actually. So.
Yep. And women are huge procrastinators. But in saying that, please don't everyone jump down my throat. Women utilise active procrastination in a very positive way, like your friend Jack. They have this amazing propensity to be able to put things on the back burner, and at the 11th hour, pull out some amazing stuff and amazing work. When I got around talking to people about the contents of my thesis, pretty much all the women I spoke to said, yep, I procrastinate. Most of them looked at it negatively, but I explained to them that active procrastination is actually a positive motivational tool. Once they got that, they understood that. And then when we had a bit of a chat, they looked back over their lives and over the deadlines, and particularly academic deadlines they had to meet. They realised that were using it as a tool, and I think it's worthwhile to turn this negative around to a positive. Anyway, as it appears, women do actively procrastinate, and utilise it as a motivational tool. And as it appears through research, is that women are very good at multitasking. Women are better at multitasking than men.
Oh, yeah.
Men are fanatical. They focus on things with a fanaticism. They can focus on one small thing. They get fanatical about it, and that's why a lot of those head senior positions in our society are headed up by men, because they're the only ones that will fanatically put in every ounce of effort, 90 to 100 hours a week, to ensure that everything is done perfect. Fanaticism.
Yeah, like, not saying women can't do that, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, men are quite happy to dedicate most of their lives
that's correct.
to one thing, just
That's
on an
correct.
insane level. But
When you look at a normal distribution right across the whole population, at either end, the worst procrastinators are the men, but the most fanatical non-procrastinators, high in conscientiousness, are at the other end, at the extreme ends. They're at the extremes. But women, they are much better. It's been proven over and over again, data's out there, that they are much better at multitasking. This is probably due to the genetics of having to run a house, have children run around their feet, children on their hip or on the breast, cooking, cleaning, running a house, and having 8 things running at once. Now, I don't think much of that has changed over the many years. In the 21st century, I think women are still doing exactly the same, but today they have to work as well. My mum used to always say, now a woman has to go. Now women have to go out to work. So we're raising kids, running a house, and shopping, and budgeting, doing all that, and work too. So she saw the pitfalls of the more modern feminine roles coming along and spoke to it rather loudly. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Women are much better at multitasking. So therefore, they're often got multiple things going at once. Men can't do that. They have to focus and fanaticize over things. This is probably why active procrastination for women is a very worthwhile tool to have on board. So all you women out there who do procrastinate until 11th hour to get your assignments in or to get something done by a deadline or things along those lines, don't look at that negatively. It is probably a very, very good tool to keep you motivated and on track. And you'll probably find if you look back through your own history of academic performance or performance in any area, you have been utilising active procrastination as a positive motivational mechanism, and that's coming out the data. Did you know that?
I actually did not know that. No,
it's true. It's amazing once you start scratching the surface. There's a lot of interesting things come up in research to procrastination. And yes, Remy, you're right. We sat down in the early stages of our undergraduate degree, and Dad was being a bit bit forthright, and said to Remy, "Hey, let's. I got an idea. I think we should do this." And we did. We implemented a strategy, a tight strategy, which included whiteboards and diaries and diarising and planning, and initiating strategies to eliminate procrastination, eliminate the 11th hour panic of trying to upload something as the seconds tick down on your deadline.
We did spend the first semester
in chaos,
without a plan or without a schedule.
How was it, mate?
It was a bit full on, and I was doing a lot of travel at the time, so I had to implement that too. But I do remember the weeks we would do. I remember it was Thursday. We had an assignment due Friday, which we'd done, and then but in Thursday class, we completely forgot about assignment that was due the Sunday. So we spent the next few days, and we usually have weekends off because we do 8-hour days studying.
Well, we didn't then.
No, we didn't. And so that weekend was very productive. But yeah, go on.
That first semester was chaos.
Yeah.
It was absolute chaos for me, and it was absolute chaos for you. And you were handling the chaos better than I was. And all of a sudden, it dawned on me after the first semester that this cannot go on. I need to go back in and devise a strategy and implement that strategy to circumnavigate procrastination and to get us ahead of the game. And the second semester of the first year, we sat down and planned and implemented that strategy. And yes, we had assignments, 2,500 word, 3,000 word, 4,000 word assignments in the can, saved, ready to go, weeks and weeks prior to the deadlines. In fact, there was a number of occasions there, mate, where I'd finished the assignment, put it away, and marched on through to do our next half a dozen, or 4 or 5 assignments. And when it come time to upload the assignment, which we often did the day prior, yes, it's due tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Well, we'd do it like it was due Friday, 4 o'clock. We'd upload it Thursday night. Thursday afternoon.
I think we'd only not hand it in earlier because we want to see if any questions pop up or anything we may have misinterpreted.
Correct, and we can make corrections.
Yep.
So I was opening up assignments that I'd done weeks before, and actually not really being very clear what I'd written about. And I'd do the final read through and go, "Oh, that's right, I remember what that was about. Then remember that."
Yeah, yep.
And then we'd upload them, but we wouldn't upload them when it's peak hour, because everyone's trying to upload at 5 p.m. on a Friday afternoon to get their assignments in a panic, and usually that's when sites crash. So we'd upload them in the morning or when it was a nice quiet time, and then it'd be gone. But the feeling, the sensation of having a bit of control and having that work, important work, they were important milestones we had to achieve as an undergraduate degree. It was pretty serious in psychology. It was really good to have those in the saved in the file, saved.
I think a different way you could look at it, and this is the way I realised during university, right? And it's like, I think people would understand this. Not sure. This is a realisation I came to, and it helped me with procrastination. It's the deadline of when something is due is not when you have to hand it in.
Correct.
You could hand it in tomorrow. The deadline's tomorrow. The assignment's in your face today. They don't want it after this date.
Yep.
They want it any time before that.
Yep.
So why wait to the last day they want it, if that makes sense? That's what I realised. I was like, they don't want it on that date. They could have it any time beforehand.
Yep.
And so, if you look at your assignment on the horizon, like say if you're looking at the horizon and your assignment's at the end next, that's due in 3 weeks.
Yep.
And further down the horizon is how the days go. So the assignment's not due down to the end of the horizon, but realistically, the assignment is open to be accepted in your face.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be accepted 3 weeks' time. It could be accepted tomorrow. So people are just leaving it, right, procrastinating it, because that's when they think they want it, or that's when they think, I just think that's when they think they want it, and that's when they think they need it, and there's nothing after that. There's nothing after that, but the deadline could be tomorrow. You can make it tomorrow. It doesn't have to be where they put it. They just don't want it after that.
Yep, correct. And that was one of the parts, because we questioned lecturers about it extensively. What is it with these deadlines, and why we get punished so harshly after it? Not that it was a problem for us. It was just general conversation about the operations of the university and the structures and the culture of the university environment. And they said, because when you come out with have successfully obtained an undergraduate degree, employees need to know that you can work to a deadline. Now that makes a lot of sense. And everything was deadlined, wasn't it?
Everything.
They give you the bloody shits, really.
Yep.
But everything was deadlined. But that made a lot of sense. So therefore, when I was looking at it, I thought, that's an interesting point. If you're an employer and you're sitting down an undergraduate, a graduate who you're going to employ, at least you can count on, if you give them a task, they're going to achieve it by the date you want it. So that made a lot of sense to me, and I worked to that.
I think in the first year of university, and I think most courses do this is what I experienced, is that in the first semester or the first year, they make it as difficult. Not that they purposely do this, but they probably just throw assignments at you to see if you can time manage appropriately. It's a test. Yeah. They're not testing you on your knowledge or your writing ability yet. They're just testing you on deadline meeting and time management. So if you meet the deadlines of time management, you could almost fail and they'll still let you into the next year.
Correct.
So that's what I realised. It's like the first semester was just chaos.
Yeah,
there was assignments everywhere.
First year.
Well, first semester. Because the second semester of our first year went a lot smoothly because we adopted an appropriate time managing, skill
strategy.
Sorry,
yes.
Yep. But the first semester they were just testing time management and if you could squeeze everything. I went into the first semester thinking, university is just going to be relaxing. Assignment here, assignment there. Attend a lecture.
Yeah, me too.
Couple of weeks, won't be as tense as year 12. And I gave everything to my year 12. I gave absolutely everything to year 12.
Yep.
So I was a bit burnt out and went into the university. Was like, this is going to be chill. Just want to kick back. It was not kick back. And I procrastinated hard in the first semester. I was sitting in class and I was just thinking, I can't wait to get home, sit on the couch and just watch a show. Get a blanket and watch a show. Because I did not want to do any work. I was burnt out and I'd only spent 2 months off. I was over school. And I I learned very quickly that I couldn't take mid-semester breaks,
No.
and I could not go home and sit and watch
you
TV.
couldn't take weekends off.
No,
You couldn't do that. There was no YouTube.
yeah, no YouTube.
No.
And in the first semester, we worked our booties off.
Yeah.
But when we adopted appropriate time management strategy, we had weekends off for the rest of the degree.
Correct.
Even in our fourth year, I took every weekend off after the first semester.
Hang on. It was Thursday afternoon, mate.
Yeah, or on
You two were taking Fridays
yeah,
off
on the
too.
second year, I was taking
Yeah,
Fridays
come
off.
on,
Yeah,
man up.
I was very relaxed.
Pardon the pun.
I was very
Yeah,
relaxed.
that's right. Well, that's right.
But
because what happened was, sorry to cut you off, the strategy we implemented around time management and reducing procrastination was just it's amazing. And of course, that's going to be one of our products going forward. We're going to train in that area because you can get around these issues really quickly. Sorry, keep going, mate.
I was just going to say that, doing a schedule helps to no end.
Oh, yeah.
And if you write a schedule, you can have weekends off. You can reward yourself.
Correct.
And when things got really tough for me during fourth year, I'm sitting there, I'm writing something that's due in 2 weeks. I can't be bothered if something's due in 2 weeks. I want to leave it for a week. So I get that motivation. But I would reward myself periodically through the day.
Yep.
I'd do 15, half an hour of reading or work, go play the guitar for 5 minutes.
Yep.
Go over, lay down, read a page of a book or something. I'd have to just periodically reward myself for doing something so far, doing something so early. I had to reward myself because that's when I procrastinated the most, was when I had to do something, but I couldn't be bothered or whatever. I'd do about half an hour work and then reward myself for 5 minutes. So I just break up, reward yourself for working out, break up the reward and effort pretty much.
Mate. That's commonly known as self-care.
Yeah, so
and
that worked very, very well for me.
Very well. And you have to look after yourself because you're under the pump in the university environment. There's a lot of stresses there that you don't really realise. And the relief of uploading a large assignment is phenomenal. It is amazing. You can actually feel a physical weight lift off your shoulders, right? Particularly. And, I know for sure, myself, I felt good about what I uploaded, right? And I know you did too, because we had the time to actually work through the process to our liking. Not let's send something off because we have to. But those strategies work very well. Really.
So I think that's a very good strategy, is getting a schedule, writing down everything. Gym this time, read this time, eat here, study here.
Yep. Because we ended up
here.
That's right. In third year, we ended up getting into what happened was there was a lot of lecturers that weren't communicating amongst themselves, and they set their own deadlines. We had 4 topics, 4 units of 4 different topics per semester, totaling 8 units over the year. And I think it was the first semester of year 3, the lecturers didn't communicate amongst themselves. Shout out to the lecturers at Fed Uni. They're all a great bunch of people. They're wonderful. I'm not trying to be disparaging or anything like that. They're wonderful people, lecturers. Wonderful.
I think the lockdown really hindered communication amongst people.
I think it did.
In our third year, it was peak lockdown.
And I think, you're right. And I think that on that occasion, in that semester, a number of lecturers weren't on the same campuses. Yeah. And they had been working remotely. Yeah. So I think there was a little bit of a lull in the communication processes.
Which is understandable.
Correct. So what happens in the 4 units, in each of the units, they set their deadlines for their assignments to be in. And a lot of them were falling in the same week. So we were having quiz tests and, 2 assignments during 1 week. So we've had to have multiple assignments going in at once, which we weren't used to that. But
no, we weren't.
And we're trying to pull that together, and that was the planning process that went around that to reduce procrastination, get us on top of the game, was extensive. Took us a couple of weeks to get that planning and a plan in place, but we micromanaged it down to the hour, didn't we?
Yep, down to the hour.
And implemented that relentlessly. And again, before too long, we were on top of the game, weren't we?
Yep, and I remember a lecturer saying that. It's like they specifically try break up the assignment due date so it's not all landing on the same week. And in the first semester of the third year, because of the communication, it was just a different communication platform. All lecturers on different campuses. No one could really go and visit each other.
Correct.
And in the fourth year, they did that. They broke it all down to different weeks, but we had a lot of assignments fall on the same week. We handled it pretty well. We neither here or there, but it was a tough semester, first semester of third year.
Yeah, correct. It was. Third year, it was.
Yeah.
Semester 1, year 3.
Yeah,
It was. And then the following semester was,
yeah, chill. It was
what's going on?
yeah, it's like, what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? Exactly.
Yeah.
What happened? Where all the work? We on top of this?
Yeah.
Have we missed something?
Yeah, that's what I kept thinking on the last semester. I was like, are we missing an assignment here? Like,
Yeah.
let's go. But that was, I think, fourth year was my favourite year. And yeah, the second semester of the third year was also my favourite too. But I enjoyed it because I had time off, so I loved it. It was like we set up a plan and I was able to take time off and I rewarded myself. So that's definitely a strategy that people can adopt into their lifestyle to avoid procrastination is 1, get a schedule down, 2, reward yourself, even if it's half an hour work, 5 minutes of doing something you like.
Absolutely.
That's how you do it.
We used to, look, this is, I suppose, specifically targeted at all the students out there, and I hope it helps. We did a couple of things that really worked really well in under the label of self-care. We would do things like have an hour for lunch and go and have a proper lunch and go on, get on your phone and answer your friends and do all that sort of stuff and have a cup of tea and things along those lines, and if have a proper rest and then come back in the afternoon. That is one strategy. Another strategy we adopted, which was very, very successful because we had such a tight program running, that we'd get out and boot the computer up 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we started early. Sometimes it was 7 a.m.
And we went through, that's correct. If we were hard under the pump in second year when we were still working quite blind, it was, 7 o'clock in the morning. I know I used to get up early in the first year, first semester, second semester, I'd be up like 6:30, 6:45. I'd have the computer on my lap in bed because I was in so much chaos. And that reduced as we went through the years. I think that's partly because we had a plan. We had a very tight strategy, a time management strategy, and a behavioural strategy to eliminate procrastination, and implemented that, which worked very, very well. And our experience as we were working our way through the course, I think that helped as well. But we used to get out there, I think the second year and third year and fourth year, get out about 9 o'clock in the morning. And if you needed a rest and lay on the couch and flick on your phone at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you're yawning and you can't see the screen clearly for the tears that are pouring down your face because you can't stop yawning, we went off and had 20 minutes, half an hour, flicking your phone, laying on the couch. Yeah, and sometimes Dad used to have a little bit of a snooze then too.
Yeah, at uni, have a snooze in the library.
Oh, well, everyone's got to have a sleep in the library, mate. What are you talking about? What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
I'm due to put my feed back in the Federation. I'm going to ask for sleeping couches in the library. I think they're sadly letting their students down, not having them little nap beds around the place.
Rooms.
That's right.
Siesta rooms.
Nap pods.
I was going to say, it leads me to my next point. It's like, get some goddamn sleep, man. Like, sleep does you, wonderful. Like, yep, remember more, get more in. Like, get some goddamn sleep.
Yeah.
And, it should be an average, and people sacrifice sleep. Like, there's a triangle. I remember a triangle. It was like social life, successful grades, or sleep. Something like that. And it was like the more you had a social life, the less sleep and grades.
Yeah, correct.
Like, grades you have. And, so it was a very hard balance. But some people just don't have the time. Some people work full-time and do a full-time degree.
Well, they recommended that you didn't do that in this course.
They did.
Bachelor of Psychological Science.
Don't
not
work. That's
don't
what they
work.
said. In fourth year, do not work.
Yes,
that's what they said.
That's correct. In the fourth year, they stipulated it uncategorically. Do not work.
And they said on the year that we didn't do it, they said that 80% of people that enrolled full-time had to go back to part-time because it was so intensive.
Well, how many people did we lose in the first weeks of the first year of honours, mate, to part-time?
We were the only two in our class that did full-time.
We were too.
Yep.
And we were recommended wholeheartedly before we enrolled for that course to go part-time.
Yep. I don't want to go part-time.
No, I didn't want to go
we
part-time.
We had a very tough third year.
Yep.
We had family deaths, all dealing with our own stuff.
Right, locked out.
Yep, locked out. And so third year was tough.
Yep.
And so when we got the fourth year, I was like, let's go. Let's bring it on.
Yeah.
But I understand that some people can't do that. And
totally
some people
agree.
Just under the pump all the time. And what can they do in times like that?
Yep.
And I think only being very strict with your time is the only way you can get through it.
Mm.
But and that's what people have to understand when they're stressed and they're procrastinating or they're busy and stuff. It's like, you will do it. Like, you will get over it. One way or another, it'll work itself out.
Yep.
And you will meet the deadline, get everything out, and it'll pass.
Correctly, particularly if you're taking steps towards it, attaining your goal. Mm-hmm. If you're taking those small steps each time, you're going to achieve it. There's no other way. It's like a natural consequence to your actions is attaining that goal. If you're taking steps towards it every day. And if you ever find yourself sitting down thinking to yourself, I'm never going to get this done, stop that thought in your mind immediately, stop that internal dialogue and turn it around and say to yourself, what small thing can I do to keep me going down that path to achieving that goal? And it can be anything. In regards to your uni course, that can be read something, write something, email something, ask somebody, right? Just do anything, because every small step you take towards attaining your goal is one step closer to you achieving it.
That's what I realised when I was going through uni. It's like, I might be reading something, I'm not writing words. I'm going to do 2,000 words, do in 12 days, and I'm reading something. But I always said to myself, I am chipping away at this very slowly. This is just one part of the journey. Yep. And it doesn't matter what I did. I read, wrote a sentence, whatever. I said this is all dedicated and all going towards the same thing. So that was very reassuring for me. And like, some people should understand that, like, people that don't procrastinate are highly conscientious. It's a personality thing.
Correct, it is. It is.
They are highly...
And we all get around to that, but yeah, you're dead right.
Highly conscientious people don't procrastinate.
Yep.
And because they are aimed at one thing and they are very, very productive.
Yep.
And that they go by a strict schedule. Yep. And they succeed. So, you know, it's just interesting to see how personality plays into it as well.
Oh, absolutely. And my thesis was around testing whether it was basic psychological needs being met, which impacted on levels of procrastination, or conscientious or personality traits. And the highest personality trait that impacted a procrastination in a negative way, the more conscientious you are, the less you procrastinate. That's the correlation. Was conscientiousness. And personality impacts on your levels of procrastination more than anything else. So it's not your basic psychological needs. Your basic, your self-esteem's being met and things like your social needs are being met. All that sort of stuff. They're basic psychological needs. Your personality impacts more than that.
Yep.
So that was the outcome. Yes, and conscientiousness was the one that significantly negatively impacted on procrastination.
And they don't allow themselves to slip. They do not slip. They pretty much avoid almost anything. They don't. Well, I read a thing that highly conscientious people are less likely to get depressed because they don't allow themselves to go that low or don't allow themselves to slip like that.
Yeah, okay.
And so I was like, it's interesting that procrastination can be the same. They don't allow themselves to procrastinate. They want to do something, they do it now, and they don't stop.
Yeah, correct.
And like, I'm not saying that, that's a healthy thing, because at the end of the day, highly conscientious people are doing things that could be too soul-selling for some people. And so not everyone's like that, and that's okay. Yep. That's perfectly okay, So, and I'm not like that. Yep. I need to chill.
Everyone does, and we need it. We either have life is a balance between chaos and order. I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yep.
And it makes a lot of sense. If we have too much chaos in our life, it's disruptive and it's not productive and it's detrimental on you. Conversely, if you have too much order, it's destructive and detrimental. It's not positive for you. We need a balance in between, in the middle. And conscientious people do tend to err on the side of order, high order.
High order, yep.
But of course, too much of a good thing is bad.
Yep.
So yes, and we're going to go into personality and the 5 big personality factors as one of our products with Amen, which will be coming up in the future throughout this year. We'll get people to sit down and do tests, and we'll have a look at what your personality traits are, and we'll be speaking to them so you can have a better understanding of of yourself.
It's hugely beneficial for everything.
Absolutely.
Motivation, procrastination, goal setting, just because you get on the same level with yourself.
Selecting partners.
Yes.
Understanding yourself.
Attraction, work, career.
Correct.
It just works. So we want to help people through one of our products and programs is to really get a very powerful insight of who you are.
Correct. And your personality. And once you can identify your highs and lows over those big five personality trait factors, you'll have a better understanding. You'll be able to make very well informed decisions around important aspects of your life, like relationships, money, future progress, education, things along those lines. We are going to look into that. That's going to be one of our products in 2024. Keep an eye out for that.
And you become familiar with your character, and you can negotiate with yourself on a fairer level. You don't have to be so harsh on yourself. Like if you're a person that enjoys time off and procrastination stuff, you're not that highly conscientious. You don't have to force yourself in a harsh way to become conscientious. You can negotiate with yourself so you perform the best. And that's what's very powerful about the product we're going to sell on the program is like you want to really, get an insight of who you are so you can use yourself to your best advantage, if that makes sense.
That's correct.
Does that make sense?
That's right. And also going down this road of an analysis of your personality will give you such an insight into yourself that your decision-making processes will be far more superior than they are without that analysis. It's just common sense. Like if you have a high propensity for neuroticism, which is one of the personality traits that is measured, and you go and get a partner that's high in neuroticism, your relationship is destined to collapse.
Yep.
Because again, too much order or too much chaos. Two personalities that are high in narcissism. It doesn't correlate with good long-term relationships. And if you know these sort of things, you can actually make better decisions for yourself. And that's not just in relationships, as I said.
Just quickly,
all aspects of life.
Neuroticism is the tendency towards experiencing negative emotion.
Correct.
I just want to define that if people don't know what neuroticism is. That's exactly right.
It's good. Yeah, that's right. So keep an eye out for that. That's what that we're going to be implementing this year. That's one of our products.
We're going to dive into personality in another podcast.
Oh yes, big time. Yep. It's going to be that'll be a few episodes actually, because we'd like to unpack that.
It's probably my favourite area, personality.
Absolutely, and we will be unpacking the big five personality factors. Actually, it's amazing. It's an amazing theory that I think you all get a lot out of. Anyway, in respect to procrastination. We've already spoken about procrastination being a motivational tool, but I think there's a bit of a fine line. For people need to actually unpack procrastination to be able to utilise it as a motivational tool. Although they may be doing it subconsciously, once you can identify that is actually what you're doing, you can work that to your advantage. And as I said about women being multitasking, and they're very good at it. Well, people who can multitask can pack a lot of activity into their lives. So ultimately, they're very productive and fulfilled lives,
and live longer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they can achieve amazing amounts of work. And we will unpack procrastination a bit further there. Now, I was going to talk about some strategies around procrastination, how to limit it.
I think I have a pretty good idea. I feel like exercise would definitely help with procrastination, because if you get active, right, early morning, wake up, go for a walk, run, hit the gym, whatever, you're more likely going to already be in that mindset of work needs to be done. So you come home and be like, I need to do this. Instead of waking up, having a chill morning, just relaxing, you're going to relax for the whole day.
Yep.
If you get up and exercise, get your blood moving, I think you'll be more likely to tackle work early.
Yep.
That's just shooting from the hip here.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm thinking now.
No, that's great. And see, because it's not all strategies are going to work for everybody, but there are going to be strategies that suit people down to the ground. But there might be some people out there go, I can't do that because I've got too many things. Well, like a lady who's got children, you get them to school, make lunches, and they can't go for a walk around the block.
That's right.
Right, so that might not work for them, but there is other strategies, and that's a very good one.
That's what I did.
I think that's great. I'll tell you another strategy we used was when we took some time out, we actually took some time out and we didn't carve ourselves up about, beat ourselves over the head of how we're being lazy or procrastinating or things like that. We accepted we're going to take an hour out, say for lunch, and that's it. We're taking an hour for lunch. We can stare out the window if you like. You can do anything you want.
That's what we did.
Yeah, and we did. And we had a good meal and we found a nice place when we were on campus, didn't we? We used to find a nice place to eat lunch every day, remember? Unpack a salad and a cup of tea and sit back and have a laugh, and we did all that sort of stuff, didn't we?
Go visit lecturers and...
Yeah, that's right. And ultimately, lecturers were visiting us.
Yeah, which was really good. And I noticed another thing that you did very, very well, Dad, at combating procrastination is don't talk so negatively about yourself, and you put your attitude towards it will be done. I remember you saying, this has to be this is due Friday, and you'd say, that will be done Friday. You automatically were speaking to yourself like it was gonna be done.
Oh, it was.
So we could have gone out. We had an event or something or a meeting on Wednesday day. We're out most of the day, whatever. Stuff happens. And I remember you saying, that will be done. We didn't feel so bad about having the day off because you already said to yourself it will be done. So at the end of the day, it's going in at Friday, 5 p.m. Doesn't matter what happens.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like attitude is a huge thing to
Absolutely.
propel yourself forward.
Absolutely. Good point, mate.
Getting it done, yep.
Very good point. Attitude is 100% the tool.
Yep.
And I knew if I was going to utilise my time somewhere else, I have to put it in somewhere else. And I was happy to do that. And you know yourself, I'd be out of bed 7 o'clock in the morning, sitting at the computer, and I'd just sit there all day until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We never went indoors we never went inside to get up prep for tea until well after 5 o'clock.
Yeah, and sometimes when I wasn't feeling tired or wasn't over uni work, I'd stay back longer. We'd work till 7 p.m. sometime. We start at 8 and work till 7.
If we felt like it, we weren't, we didn't have to.
Yeah, if we felt like it was a choice. We weren't forced to stay back, but I was feeling quite good at 5:30. Yeah, it was better when it was light outside and wasn't dark, wasn't messing with your head. So we'd stay back and do the extra mile just because we wanted to.
Correct. Yep. And then on Thursday afternoons at 5 o'clock, you jump in the car and go and catch up with the brothers for the weekend.
Yeah, on my second year I did that. I don't think I did too much I didn't do it in the fourth year at all. I just on the days where I could take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, I did.
How many of them did you take?
Every single one in the second year pretty much. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Third year too.
Did I?
I think there was quite a few in the third year as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really quiet on Fridays because my wife would go to work and you'd be with the brothers. So I used to get bored, so I'd go out and look at what I had to study.
Yeah.
But it wasn't frantic, like, quick, get this done. It was actually going to have a bit of a look and interest and see where you're at and a bit of a proofread and have a look around there and touch on something that was coming up. It was a very laid back Friday, and it wouldn't be for very long. It might be a couple of hours, and then it'd be YouTube or write something or read something I want to, So and again, I didn't carve myself up and call me for all the useless whats because I checked out something motivational on YouTube
And I feel like another good thing, just adding to that, is taking time off. That was a huge strategy. Is like I understand work is really tough for some people.
Absolutely.
And what really worked for us in the shed, what really worked for the gym, when you're doing something you don't really want to, something that you'd prefer to sit on the couch to do, separate that thing from your relaxation environment. The shed was our productivity time. The house was the relaxation time. And so what I say to people is like they want to come home and relax is get used to leaving your work at the door. You've just given 8 hours of intense work, leave work at the door, go home and relax. And that would really help with procrastination because you're not taking work home, you're not thinking about it, you're not waking up in the morning exhausted and you don't want to do work even more. You're doing your hours and you're leaving it at the door. Now it's family time. Now it's relaxation time. And I feel like that's a huge thing because you separate the stress from your relaxation. Correct. You can do both much better. Yep. So that's why I try to separate my relaxation time with.
That's some good advice, mate. That's some very, very good advice.
Leave work at the door or else it'll sneak up on you and it'll infiltrate your life.
And you can do that when you've stepped into the door. Now, Remy's been referring to the shed. Our shed is where we studied my shed's where we studied, and it's decked out as an office. It's actually a very functional office nowadays. But anyway, we call it the shed. We call it the university, the University of Shed. Anyway, that's what he's referring to too. But you can do that when you step out. You've done your 6, 7, 8 hours, so you can step out and actually relax and enjoy your relaxation time. When you've stepped in and done your 6 or 7 hours of study. When you've put that work in, you then can have the downtime as a reward, and then you can relax and enjoy your reward and then get the full benefit from it. So, another thing I just quickly want to talk to too in relation to deadlines when they give us assignments was this. You were saying that you were thinking that people were thinking that the deadline is when they wanted the assignment.
Yeah, when the teachers, the lecturers wanted the assignment. It's like, no, they don't want it then. They're quite happily to have it tomorrow.
Yes,
just
correct.
in your head, you're thinking that's when they want it. That's the only time I can hand in the assignment is on the deadline, and that's not true. And that's what I realized. Yep. The deadline isn't when I have to hand it in. I'm just telling myself I have to hand it in then. Correct. It's like, no, I can hand it in tomorrow.
And I just wanted to add to that a little bit as what I think, this is just from my own personal experience, that people in that position in a university environment, they might get a deadline 3 weeks out. Now, when you look at it on the calendar, say you go in on the 26th of February, you go in there and they say, oh, you haven't got an assignment until, say, the 1st of April. Well, people thinking April's a long way away.
Yep.
So I'm not even going to worry about that, right? And that what happens is they let those 2 or 3 weeks go of doing nothing, right? Prep, doing a quiz or whatever, going to class or whatever, but they don't do anything. Next minute, it's the 28th of March, and you got something due in on the 4th of April, right? And then it's right. Particularly if something else has come up around that time, because you might have one due in the first week of April, you might have one due in the second week of April, and one in the third, right? Because it's 6 weeks out, you got 4 units. They want them in that same. Next minute, you got 4 assignments to do in 2 weeks. Where you've just been sitting around for 5 weeks doing nothing. Well, what we do in our planning, and we can adopt this to any work environment, mind you, this strategy, is we take our planning time. And although there are deadlines set for that work to be achieved, we documented those deadlines.
Yep.
But then we come back and planned our deadlines and what we worked to.
That's right, yeah.
And that's how we achieved our goals weeks and weeks and weeks prior to their due deadlines.
And university deadlines was not our deadlines.
No, we ran our deadlines, and that's quite an easy strategy that can be implemented.
So run your own deadlines before the actual ones.
Correct. And utilise every tool you can get. Utilise diaries, papers, electronic diaries, anything. Set your own deadlines, set personal deadlines, like when you'd like to see it finished, not when it's due, and capitalise on your small steps.
Yeah, definitely.
Taking small steps.
I remember we had an assignment due out for 4 weeks or something, and we're talking about university a lot because we dealt with a lot of motivation and procrastination things in university because it was quite a tough gig at some points.
But this strategy will apply to any workplace.
Yep.
If you're working to deadlines in the workplace, there are strategies and ways how to have that structured in such a fashion that your productivity will increase exponentially and with less stress on your staffing teams. So our strategy can increase productivity, reduce stress, and have everybody in the same ballpark, on the same page, doing the same thing, but achieving a lot more.
That's exactly right.
Yeah?
Yep.
Would you like to say anything else before we wind up, mate? That might just about wrap that one.
Yeah, I think we covered everything we want to cover. I guess, just a reminder that to everyone, don't work yourself too hard.
Yeah,
you deserve to take time off,
yes,
and you
do.
deserve to be rewarded. And we're definitely here to help people, and hopefully someone got something out of this on how they can restructure their life or their time to reduce some of the stress, because that's what happened to us, and that's what we know best is set up a structure, and put some time aside. Like, I'm not doing any more work until I have a structure that I know will help me. And that was exactly what we did on the second semester.
We did exactly what
we did not do any more work until we had something down pat.
That's right.
And like, that can be quite an enjoyable process.
Yes.
Writing all this down, putting it all up on the board.
Yep.
Your mind already knows what has to be done. You just naturally do it.
Yep.
And that's what I tell everyone. Don't work yourself too hard.
Yep.
Because and don't feel guilty for having days off. You are human. Take days off.
Once you've implemented the system, you can then really, truly relax. But you will find you're relaxing as a default because all this pressure's been lifted off you around deadlines and what you have to achieve. And then you can start taking those small steps and capitalising on the rewards of those small steps. It works every time.
Yep.
It works every time.
That's exactly right. And I'm sure later on down the track we'll get some tips for people, some easy tips to avoid procrastination or help combat it in a way.
I think so. And I think we'll have a few future episodes on procrastination because it affects everybody. It's a natural phenomenon that affects absolutely everybody, but that can be negative or it can be positive.
Can't emphasize that enough. It's all normal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is all normal.
Yeah.
You're all normal. Yeah. All right. All right, mate. Look, thank you very much. Take care. It's good talking to you. I hope you got something out of that. Thank you, Rem.
Thank you, and take care, everyone.
Yeah, no worries. And we'll see you next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.